So I believe most self-help is basically the equivalent of people trying to teach you how to become a bigger, faster, stronger caterpillar. You may have heard this analogy before, but it's really true. Caterpillar, instead of transforming into a butterfly, okay? It's like you become a looks-maxed caterpillar. You become a caterpillar with millions, with a Bugatti. I actually like that guy, by the way. But this video, and I fucking promise you this, if you commit to it, is going to teach you how to become the butterfly. This is the stuff that nobody in self-help will talk about. Nobody. Because it's not very attractive. It doesn't really get a lot of views. Most people are addicted to being caterpillars. They don't actually want to transform. They just want to stay in the same fucking paradigm. They basically want to be in a golden cage instead of being let out of the cage. Now, this video, I'm committed, in all of my videos actually, maybe some of them a little bit more algorithm based. I'm going to make them in the future, but this is the real. Okay, so if you want to have a real transformation, commit to it. Obviously, it's a long video. However, if you do commit to it, you get out of it what you put into it, it can really change your life. Okay, if this is the right video for you at this time, it's gonna be fucking incredible. So, we're gonna shoot into a video today about living in accordance with the natural rhythms of life. Now, that sounds fucking pompous, and I probably picked a title that's a lot more clickbaity and simple, but I promise you, it's gonna be fucking worth it, okay? The light of God coming in from there agrees, okay? Hilariously, we're gonna be talking about the yin and yang and the different principles that govern your life, the flow of your life, and my fucking face literally looks like a yin and yang, okay? You have a light side and dark side. We're gonna get into it. Now, this video is specifically geared to you if you've already been on a kind of massive expansion phase. Either you're in it right now, but it's getting dry, or it's kind of starting to run out and things are kind of just starting to crumble and fall apart around you. Because trust me, I've experienced this for the last 3 years. It's been scary as fuck. It's been transformative, and I've got a lot of lessons out of it, and I want to give them to you here. Now, the danger with this is that if this reaches the wrong kind of person who has never been on a specific, especially for a man, I believe this is important to go on an expansion phase first, okay, to conquer limitations, to build shit, to become a crazy, strong version of yourself. If you've never gone on a journey like that, an intense one, this video is kind of not for you, or I think it can help you on your journey, but there is a danger that you're going to fall into the trap of being like, okay, I'll just be in a down phase right now and just embrace it, but then you just keep jerking off in your basement. That's not really it, okay? So if you've never been on a crazy expansion phase where you've just been winning, bad idea, okay? You want to go on that first. But if you've already been in that, and I can tell you kind of my example of this first is from the ages of pretty young, and this is also part of the story, of 18 to about 21, I went from being a pretty insecure 18-year-old, before the 3 years before that, I went from having full-blown fucking social anxiety, literally being scared of talking to almost anybody, scared of even leaving my room at one point, to a pretty good level, okay? I was pretty normal socially. I could talk to people, I could go to parties, socialize, all of that, without alcohol, by the way, which is big. Most people can't even do that. But anyway, I was still a pretty insecure 18-year-old, and over the next 2-3 years or so, I went from that place to literally coaching people 10, sometimes 20 years older than me with their social anxiety, okay? By the end of it, I was even leading coaching groups in a coaching program of a mentor of mine, but I was literally leading groups of people usually 10 years older than me. A couple of them were younger, but most of them were older. And anybody who I talked to about this was like, dude, this is fucking crazy that what you're doing. This is amazing. The clients got also great results that I worked with, so it was really cool, okay? But what started happening, and hilariously, it was specifically at this time that I started going into the forest, and which also helped me with that lesson of embracing the different phases and the different flows of your life, is that things just started kind of not feeling right anymore, okay? Things started feeling unaligned, as fucking dumb and new age as that word is. I fucking hate that terminology, okay? It's just like, makes me think of weird people who hug trees, although I've actually hugged trees before. You should try it, feels kind of nice. But also people like sniff their crystals and shit, it's fucking weird. But anyway, it started to feel unaligned, and the energy that used to go into the projects that I was working on was just kind of being drained out of them. Now, later on, I started reading Jung, actually, and he went into this in one of his books. Specifically, the first one that I read was Psychological Types, that sometimes the psyche, when something is unaligned, will just withdraw energy from it and kind of force you into a down phase, where he would actually say that contents in the unconscious, again, this is kind of one way of thinking about it. We're going to get into other ones as well, but contents of the unconscious, what is basically in your potentialities but hasn't emerged yet, is being activated in that down phase, where everything is being, all the energy that was out there is being withdrawn within you, activate stuff in the unconscious that can then come out. Basically, a death and a rebirth. This is the key to everything, and we're gonna get into it, okay? So I started going into the forest specifically during this time, and I started having the realization that life needs death. And this is gonna maybe sound a little bit, obvious, but if you've never deeply considered it, if this hasn't really sunken in, if you haven't spent like a month or several months considering this, you don't really get it, I believe. But life needs death in order to exist. It needs it. It cannot survive. You today, if you wanted to survive, you had to ingest dead matter in order to keep living. Now, I also started seeing this in the forest, where you have fallen leaves. They're all around me right now. You have dead matter. I remember looking at the ground, seeing all of the dead wood, and realizing that that becomes the substance that the new life grows out of, okay? Now, what this means for you and your specific journey is, and trust me on this one, I mean, if you haven't experienced it yet, you will. There isn't only expansion. There isn't only winning. Although winning is amazing, expansion is amazing, making money, crushing your goals, it's all amazing, looking cool. Even the ego-based shit, looking cool, flexing on them hoes, that's kind of awesome, I mean, don't let anybody talk you out of it. As I said, it's kind of cool to experience this, and I think very important to experience it personally. Yeah, I definitely had some of that, okay? And it's fucking cool. But there is not only that to life. And in fact, if you get attached to it, you literally stifle the life process. It's basically like you're blocking the flow of life. And ultimately what's going to happen is, if you keep resisting the downward movement, the decay, the death of what used to be good, but now is no longer aligned, it's gonna fucking take you into hell, okay? If you resist it, that's how you burn, all right, metaphorically. Maybe literally, the psychopathic billionaires that can't let go have to be in control. Who knows what's going to happen to them when they die, right? I don't fucking want to know. I mean, dude, you look into these people's eyes sometimes. Hey, dude, I don't want to name names, but I mean, some of these people look possessed, in my opinion. Anyway, if you don't embrace, and we're going to get into the Tao Te Ching specifically, which is one of my favorite spiritual texts, probably along with the Gospels in the Bible. I also like the Thomas Gospel. Not to be cool, but there's just a couple of sayings in there from Jesus, which personally I intuit that he said, but they were not in the Gospels in the Bible. But anyway, we're going to go into the Tao Te Ching specifically, because this is probably the best text ever written. And you can really say this because it's been around for 2,500 years, maybe even more, and it's still being read, and it's fucking incredible, okay? The version that I always listen to is actually on YouTube. You can go into it right now. Hilariously, I say this in literally every new video that I've made so far. After my hiatus, by the way, after my down phase for 3 years, the Tao Te Ching, read by Wayne Dyer on YouTube. You can go look this up right now. It's fucking incredible, okay? The OG, he has like the perfect voice for it. And although, my thing is kind of, I always want to go for the best, most classic thing, obviously in the text, but also in the translation. Hilariously, and I've looked at a lot of different translations, he kind of gets it the best, okay? And the worst translation, by the way, is the one written probably by the smartest person. His name is Richard Wilhelm, I believe. It was a German translation. Ultra smart guy, but he didn't really get it, because I think, in my view at least, which is kind of arrogant to say, but I honestly didn't get the feeling that I got when I read the Wayne Dyer one, because it goes above the mind. Because here's what you'll find, okay? When things are starting to crumble, when things are starting to go down, this up here, because, and here's the key, it has attached its identity and its sense of safety to these things that are now crumbling, is gonna freak the fuck out, okay? It's gonna be like, this is crazy. I remember DMing a friend of mine at the time who's a great mindset coach and being like, dude, things are, I'm fucked, dude. Things are falling apart. I don't know what to make out of this, you know. And he at least gave me a little bit of presence there, you know. He's an incredible coach, right? But he gave me kind of a context, helped me kind of at least a little bit on the journey. Okay, later the Tao Te Ching was really the breakthrough for me, but I freaked out. Okay, I was like, this is fucking crazy. I don't know what's happening. But things were just naturally crumbling. And then going to Egypt, funny enough, this is what happened after. I just made the decision to not resist anymore. Okay, like this, if this has to happen, this has to happen. Now, the crazy thing is that this went on for literally 3 years, okay? This went on for the last 3 fucking years. And I can tell you, every fucking step of the way, this here, my ego, okay, and what it was saying, it thought it was fucked up, okay? And thought it was making the craziest mistakes. I definitely made mistakes along the way. There's also a toxic side of the yin side of the yin and yang, okay, that you can fall into. We can get into that as well later on in the video, but you can fall into that. But the positive side is the things that are not aligned anymore crumbling and you allowing them to crumble and not resisting. And this is gonna fucking freak out, okay? Trust me. However, here's the key, and we talked about this with going beyond the mind. There is a higher order to life than what this can make out. And you will find this going into nature, okay? I fucking dare you. This is maybe even more important than reading the Tao Te Ching, although probably the same level of importance, but go into nature, go into the forest, look around, look at life. Society has fucked you up currently because you live in a fantasy world. You call them cities. They're literally fake realities. It's going into the metaverse, not specifically the metaverse. I think peripherally aware that it kind of stopped, but something like that is most likely going to come. An even crazier fantasy reality, even more disconnected from the flow of life. Ultimately, by the way, you want to know the ultimate one? You can live forever. That's the ultimate fuckery. That is the ultimate trick. And that is really what's going to make this and being able to live with the natural rhythms of life incredibly important in the next, I don't know how many years. Could be 50, could be 100, could be 300. Might not happen to you. But this is kind of deep, okay? We went from business to this. But if you resist the natural movement towards death, you're probably going to go to hell. Okay, anyway, like the psychopathic billionaires who are building the systems. Or we're going to get back to business, okay? I'm joking, by the way. All of that is totally not happening. That's a joke, okay? Peter Thiel is definitely not... Anyway. I mean, look at the guy, dude. He's literally rotting. Anyway, okay. If you know, you know, dude. If you know, you know. Anyway, on a smaller level, what this means for you is that when things are dying, you don't resist it. You allow it to happen. You allow this to say what it wants to say. It's all good. It's not your master. It's a great slave, but a bad master. May have heard that one before, but it's true. Instead, you tap in. You get present. You become empty, as the Tao Te Ching would teach you. That's the word it uses for this. And what you will find is that instead of being governed by this, something else takes over. The flow takes over. That's another metaphor. And life turns into death. But, this is the other key, new life comes out of it. You cannot make any videos for 3 years. Not work on your business, okay? Almost go completely broke, go into debt. That was the bad part of it, okay? I could have avoided that if I, in fact, wouldn't have resisted. okay? Not do anything, let everything crumble, literally spend most of your time just going into the forest, reading classical literature and spiritual texts, you know, taking in yin. Kind of like a caterpillar before it turns into a butterfly, just eating, 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 eating. Then, in the cocoon, completely dying, completely dissolving. I'm not a fucking caterpillar, but I bet that fucking hurts. Okay, pain is a part of this. And you not resisting it is an important part of it. But out of that disillusion, disillusion? Sometimes my English fails me. It's not my first language, but anyway. It gets completely wiped out, okay? The caterpillar is no more. So that a completely new creature can arise. Now suppose the caterpillar would have been like, no, I gotta hang on. I love being a caterpillar. And by the way, this is most coaching. This is most self-help and coaching. I gotta become a faster caterpillar. I gotta become a sexier caterpillar. I gotta become a looks-maxed caterpillar with millions of dollars in the bank. And there's nothing wrong with millions of dollars in the bank, by the way. To an extent, even nothing wrong with looks maxing, although I think that's kind of the supreme retardation. The guys are kind of cool. I mean, fuck. I love the turns this video is taking. But you know, I really like clavicular, actually, hilariously. I don't agree with the philosophy, but just like somebody completely believing their own bullshit. I always kind of love people who just completely believe their own bullshit. Even if I disagree, I love it. Usually even my favorite self-help gurus are fucking weird, okay? They're weird as fuck. It's like Fred Dotson, for example, who will write a law of attraction book, Parallel Universes of Self, and in the same book, you know, he can't just make a normal self-hypnosis law of attraction book. He has to be like, you surf into parallel universes. And I used the technique in order to manifest not one, but 2 alien encounters. He literally tells a story. I love the guy. I love the book. It's all incredible. Okay. So anyway, how the fuck did we get here? The caterpillar. Okay. So most coaching is literally becoming a faster caterpillar instead of having the real transformation. Because you're addicted to the caterpillar paradigm. You're addicted to more. You're addicted to ego. You're addicted to the fucking parasite running in your mind. The possessing entity, this is how Eckhart Tolle puts it in his books, Power of Now on New Earth. The possessing entity, which is your mind and emotions if you're totally identified with them, that you mistake for you. And that's how it possesses you. And if this runs you, all you can think about is more, 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 more. And if things go down, your impulse will be to resist. But the best thing, in fact, that can happen to you in that state is that you lose everything. Everything that you identified with, everything that gives you pleasure, everything that gives you confidence that is sourced outside of you instead of from within, taken away. Ah! Pain! It fucking hurts. But it only hurts from here and from here. And the gift in this, and this is what I believe majorly, there's other interpretations that are good too, but majorly what Jesus meant in the Sermon on the Mount when he said, blessed are those who mourn. Because in the falling away of what you were attached to and the pain, what you are beyond your mental and emotional identifications can come up if you don't resist. If you resist, it's going to take you down, okay? All the way down. But that is also not to torture you. It will torture you. It will definitely torture you. But that is not because God is a fucking sadist, okay? That is because the suffering is meant to wake you the fuck up to who you really are. Outside of this shit, okay? And to again, I still can't think of the word, but to wipe out the caterpillar completely so that the new manifestations of who you really are at your core can come up. And your goals will change. They may even be similar. Okay, I can tell you this right now. My goals are still pretty similar. But the energy that is behind them, that you're coming from, will be completely fucking different. You will not run anymore. You won't have to prove anything anymore. You become, literally, quote Jesus again, in the Sermon on the Mount, like the lilies of the field. You don't labor, you don't spin. That doesn't mean that you just fucking sit there lazy. Again, it means you take action, but you do so from a place of surrender. You don't labor or spin, but are even more beautifully clothed than Solomon. Okay. Which also goes into that, from this place, it's not just beautiful inwardly, your outer life also becomes beautiful. You will naturally feel yourself drawn to places like this. You will naturally want to go into nature. You will naturally want to go travel. You'll want to see the fucking pyramids, okay? Although they also have a lot of things wrong with it. I mean, dude, you ever go to the pyramids, you see they're so cool that I would still recommend anybody to go there. However, I've never been approached more times. I've never felt more like a hot girl being approached by just hairy, sweaty men wanting something from me. Bless their hearts, right? They're on their fucking hustle. They gotta feed their families. But still, you know, it's like, you want a camel, bro? You want a camel, bro? No, I don't want a camel, bro. Leave me the fuck alone. Okay? Like, going to third world countries will give you a lot of... Damn. That's a fat ass fly. Anyway, but going to third world countries will give you a lot of empathy for how people who are probably famous or people who are famous or how hot girls feel like, right? It's like just everybody wants something from you, man. It's fucking crazy. Okay. By the way, being in this state of not needing anything, being non-needy will also make you hella fucking attractive. Okay. To clients that you potentially want to have, to women, to whatever you want to attract into your life. This might even be that this is more of a natural law, okay? Not entirely sure yet. Maybe it's just mirror neurons when you interact with other people, but I have a strong suspicion that being non-needy and actually tapped into this, to the natural flow, to the Tao, if you will, it kind of has an effect on the entire world around you. I don't know yet, okay? I don't know if the law of attraction gurus, how right they are, but they're definitely right to a large extent. Now again, you have to allow the complete... I still can't think of the fucking... I'm gonna look it up after this, okay? The complete falling apart of everything that you built from the ego-based paradigm in order for the new stuff to arise. And again, the goals might change completely. It can happen. But it may also be that they're kind of similar, but you just go after them with a completely different energy. And because of the energy, and I actually think this is true, the different energy that you emanate, if you will, the reality that you create, taking action from there will correspond with that. It will be beautiful, okay? And I can tell you, and I told this story in another video, if you don't do it from the right inner state, you could be in heaven on earth. Personally, I was in a penthouse in Tulum. Tulum is beautiful. And I was unhappy as fuck, okay? The buddy I was there with, who paid for the penthouse, shout out, you're a legend. But he was also unhappy as fuck. Made a lot of money, 19 years old, lots of money. I was 19 years old, not making as much money, but still living off my fucking coaching business, traveling Mexico, which was amazing, okay? Technically on the surface, a lot of amazing things in Mexico as well. Funny enough, the best time in Mexico that I had was hanging out with a friend of mine who wasn't as much in this paradigm, okay? He was Christian, very tapped in guy, very charitable. Anyway, that was the best time, okay? It wasn't when I got what my ego wanted in the fucking penthouse, flexing it on people, right? Well, they're locked down in Germany. These fucking bitches flexing on like having people from my high school reach out to me like, whoa, how are you doing this, you know? I was miserable. And Tulum is beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. Weird shit there too, like people selling you drugs. Beautiful girls, amazing nature in a way, Maya ruins, incredible beaches. It's beautiful. But if this year isn't beautiful, you're fucked. And in a way, it's still better, again, than being the derper in your basement. I love how I just used it just slipped out. I kind of... I don't like using the word derper because I feel like Owen Cook kind of invented it and it's the perfect word, okay? It's the perfect word for somebody who's just jerking off in his basement all the time. Like just playing video games, like wasting his life away. But I wish I came up with that. Anyway, I don't want to swagger jack Owen too much. But anyway, Owen Cook, great guru, look him up. But just like, you know, the loser guy in his basement. It doesn't mean being that. Now I forgot how I got here. This is kind of the problem with doing these impromptu videos sometimes, but the beautiful part of it is a flow and you come to ideas that you could have never scripted, like the fucking psychopathic billionaire one that I just went into. I was like, as it was coming out, I'm like, am I really saying this? Like, am I really saying this shit? Yeah. So anyway, getting back, the energy that you're tapped into will create your reality, and you could be on heaven on earth. Now I found the thread again. Okay, keep weaving the shit. Okay, like Trump, keep doing the weave. The energy that you're tapped into is always going to reflect outside, and you could be in heaven on earth. If this isn't dialed in, you're fucked, bro. You're fucked. You're the ultimate failure, you know? You're the ultimate loser. You're even more of a loser. No, you're not more of a loser than the guy in his basement, but you're still a loser. So, if it happens to you, that things that you were attached to, and it is not entirely black and white, you may be partly aligned with what is truly authentic to you, maybe partly stuck in ego. We're all a mix, okay? I'm certainly not perfect. We're all a fucking mix. But being aligned with your true self, you will create something that is truly an expression of that beautiful inner state that you are tapped into. And sometimes what may have to happen is that you lose everything, okay? And this is also a classic mythological motif in modern movies, but also in myths all across the world, okay, throughout the ages. I mean, the classic book on this is, who I'm a huge fan of, okay, like literally, Joseph Campbell. If he came back to life gay, and I'm not gay, but if he needs a nice young piece of ass, I may offer myself up. Okay, give the man whatever he needs. Like, write the sequel to The Hero with a Thousand Faces, okay? I always wanted to drop that joke. Anyway, but a huge Joseph Campbell fan, obviously. The interviews with Bill Moyers are incredible too, the power of myth. But in The Hero with a Thousand Faces especially, he was, if you've ever seen the hero cycle, okay, with the different stages, he was the one who first came up with that and really defined it in that way. Jung was big on that too, but Campbell kind of distilled it as far as I can tell, and specifically when it comes to that topic, okay, and really structuring the entire journey. One part of it is the belly of the whale. Okay, so how it usually goes is the hero goes out on his journey, you have the refusal of the call, the mentor comes in, and then right when he crosses the threshold into the world of the unknown, it's a little bit different from what we talked about, but to show you the point, it's still relevant. The monster, what Joseph Campbell would say is the monster of the abyss comes to meet him. And then there are several outcomes, you know. One of them is the hero completely fails, is dismembered, you know, kind of descends into hell, and then is rebuilt, which is what we're kind of talking about. Or it could also be he slays the monster, but for now we're gonna stick with the being completely, I still can't think of the word. I actually wrote it down in a fucking like essay text that I wrote once. But anyway, but dismembered, okay, let's take that. The hero is completely dismembered and has to be rebuilt. We're gonna use this. You find this in, obviously the classic example would be Jonah in the belly of the whale. okay? But let's not even use that example, okay? Let's be a little bit less pretentious here. Let's use Star Wars. I'm gonna give you two. Number one, Star Wars, okay? Technically, in the fifth one, or third one, of the old ones, Luke makes the wrong decision, technically the wrong decision, to fight Darth Vader before he's ready, right? And he gets his fucking hand cut off and falls down into the abyss. Dismemberment, abyss. Met the monster, failed, dismembered, into the abyss. However, and it's kind of funny, I don't know how George Lucas originally intended this, but somehow he just comes back overpowered in the sixth one from the very beginning. Like, he doesn't even train anymore. Or, I don't get it. Maybe a Star Wars fan can help me with that. Did he go back to train with Yoda first? I have no idea. But anyway, he just comes back overpowered in the sixth one, okay? He had to go down first, although technically speaking, it was a mistake. And you may have experienced this. You made a mistake and things get fucked up. But actually, the suffering that was created by the mistake was exactly what you needed to experience to get to the next level. Another one, and I really, really love this one. A lot of people don't like it, I think because of the CGI. It makes them kind of uncomfortable. It gives them kind of the uncanny valley effect. But one of my favorite movies, Alita Battle Angel. Okay, and there's an incredible part where, also what I really love about the movie is it's not a hero's journey of her getting increasingly stronger, but it's a hero's journey of her remembering how strong she actually is and getting more tapped into her true nature. And I believe, obviously there is something to also just learning new things, getting stronger, but in a way all of us just have to reconnect and remember who we really are. That's what we're also kind of talking about here. Outside of this, outside of mental emotional identifications, shit you've identified with, who are you really at your core, and tapping into that energy. Anyway, there is a scene in the movie where, so she is basically this fucking badass battle robot, okay? And only her head in the beginning remains, and a doctor basically, who's a mechanic, okay, mechanic, doctor, whatever, repairs her, but with a body that is not at all sufficient for her strength, okay? It's basically like a little girl's cyborg body. Now, there is a point in the movie where she decides to fight an enemy that is way too strong for her. Also, again, mythologically, she has to go underground in order to fight him. The ground of the bar breaks. She falls down into that underworld, confronts the enemy, and completely fails, okay? And the way it's so genius how James Cameron made this. I don't know if he was aware of what he was doing or if he just kind of channeled it, because really myth is in a way kind of channeled, okay? It's showing you this is also what Joseph Campbell, Carl Jung would say, is it's showing you the structure of your unconscious psyche, okay? And artists, poets, modern days, movie makers, could even be video games, okay? Zelda, for example, is a great video game that does this in my view. My favorite Zelda was Skyward Sword as a kid. Incredible game. But they are channeling, oftentimes unconsciously, some of them nowadays may have read Joseph Campbell, right? But unconsciously channeling these dynamics of the psyche, these unconscious dynamics and development processes of the psyche, and they symbolize them, they put them similar to a dream, put them into symbolic form. Nowadays could be a movie, could even be a video game, right? So she goes underground to fight this enemy that's way too strong for her, and this is the key, the body that she had, the little girl's body, gets completely destroyed. She's literally in the end just standing on one hand, okay, like fucking hobbling on one hand, trying to fight this fucking guy. And then she gets saved last minute, okay? This might have to happen to you as well. Happened to me when I was in Jordan, okay? I was completely fucked, completely ran out of money. I was actually getting out of the flow. Egypt, I was super in flow, and I actually got exactly the amount of money I needed. Even though I didn't work barely at all, I got the exact amount of money that I needed to go to the next step every fucking time. It was crazy, okay? And again, this is not about not working anymore, but if it's truly authentic to you, if it's what you're supposed to do, again, be careful that this doesn't fall into the toxic way, into the toxic expression of this, because that happened to me as well. But you're supported, okay? Trust me on this one as well. Literally, the money just kept showing up. But anyway, what happened in Jordan is I went into ego and thought that I can just do whatever the fuck I want now, okay, and don't even have to give anything in return anymore. And what happened is I completely ran out of money, and I was literally saved in the last moment, waking up the day where I completely ran out of money and couldn't even fly back to Germany again with, I swear to God, I didn't see it there like 2 days before, but I opened my banking app and I now can go into the minus with my fucking bank account, okay? So I was in incredible scarcity, and I could book the flight back to Germany and not die, basically, okay? Not have to become a male prostitute in Jordan for all the closeted gays in the Muslim country, right? I had a hilarious interaction actually with a gay dude in Egypt. Anyway, he thought I was gay just because my hair is long. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm not gay. He's like, really? Are you not gay? I'm like, no, I'm not gay. Anyway, but you may have to be dismembered. And this, what happened to me in Jordan, was kind of symbolically my old body getting completely fucked, okay, completely dismembered, being confronted with a situation that you have no idea how to deal with and completely failing, having to be rescued. But from there, you can be rebuilt into who you truly have to be in order to get to the next fucking level, okay? And what happens to Alida in the movie is she actually, before that, she recovered an old fighting body, okay, of the cyborg who she really was. She fucking recovered it. Also, by the way, again, a cool symbol, going into a lake, okay, having to go underwater into a lake, which is symbolic. If you read that psychologically, going underwater always means going into the unconscious, right? So she basically rescued that potential out of her own unconscious in a modern way that might be you interpret your dreams, your fantasies. I'm at the moment learning how to do this, okay, but already it's kind of like learning a new language. It's pretty fucking hard, but it really pays off, okay? If you start to understand how your unconscious speaks to you and what it wants you to do and the stuff that comes out of it, it's fucking amazing, okay? I highly recommend. Great documentary on this as an introductory point. 10-hour documentary, but if you're really into this, it's a good starting point, is The Way of the Dream. Oops. The fucking bottle fell down. Now I can't drink anymore because there's fucking dirt in it. Okay. Anyway, but The Way of the Dream with Marie-Louise von Franz, or Marie-Louise von Franz, I think it is. Great German translation, right? But she was maybe Carl Jung's main co-worker, okay, and really just a fucking G, okay? She's amazing. Just fucking listen to her, okay? That's a great starting point for dream interpretation. But again, it's not easy, but it's worth it, okay? So Alida has to go and rescue that out of the unconscious, basically, that potential of hers to become the crazy fucking awesome fighting robot. And then only after having been completely destroyed, the old body having been completely destroyed, her kind of doctor, okay, daddy, is now allowing her to wear the new body. Before that, he actually was like, no, I'm not going to install it for you. It's too dangerous. He was kind of attached to her staying the little girl. And now that the old body is completely dismembered, now she can become who she really is supposed to be. And it's just awesome because after that, she meets the same enemy that she failed to fight against again, and she just fucking dismantles him, okay? It's beautiful to watch. Very violent, okay? But anyway, it's still, what it symbolizes, even though it's fucking violent, what it symbolizes is incredible, okay? You died to your old self, you allowed the disintegration to happen, even maybe after a grave mistake you made, you go into non-resistance to the pain, you allow the dismemberment, and out of that, you get rebuilt, and you fucking slay the enemy that killed you at first. Right? And this, I believe, is the real art form of living in harmony with the flow of life, with the natural ebb and flow. In breath, out breath. The seasons. Leaves growing, leaves falling. Death, new life coming out. Right? And this is something that nobody talks about in my view. Almost nobody. I mean, I recently reread Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, which is like kind of an introductory book, but if you reread it after like some years of, this was my experience, if you reread it after some years of spiritual work and going more deeply into the classics, the spiritual classics, Eckhart is pretty fucking awesome, okay? Like, he really got some bars, okay? And obviously the main thing about Eckhart is that he's embodying the energy, a living teacher truly embodying that energy. Also a living teacher from the West, which is really fucking cool, okay? You don't have to listen to somebody with a turban, all right? I'm personally very skeptical of a lot of guys with the turbans. Also great guys, Osho, for example, who I really like. I think he really got it, but Eckhart is, he really embodies it, you know? And one of the bars that he had in The Power of Now is specifically about this, right? He talks about you have to embrace the down phases in your life. And the key is also the down phases may last, and he says this, from a couple minutes to a couple years. Okay, and I've just come out of 3 years of a fucking down phase and my ego going crazy and being like, oh no, what's happening? I have to fucking rebuild my YouTube channel. I have to rebuild my coaching business. But again, identification, not who you really are. It's all fucking bullshit, okay? It's not bullshit in the sense that it is important that you go on your life journey. You don't just sit there. You don't just become a tree-hugging meditator that has a bunch of suppressed desires, and when you leave your fucking Snickers bar on the table with them, you go to the toilet, you can be sure they fucking eat that Snickers bar, okay? Because we're all one anyway, and the universe is so abundant. Maybe the universe gave me the gift of the Snickers bar. Oh, he left his wallet too. Maybe the universe is giving me a gift of the wallet. And it's like, my mentor always used to give the example of the Snickers bar, right? They're going to eat it really fast if you leave. After having spent like 13 years in spiritual work, right? So anyway, you don't want to become one of those people who basically just suppresses their natural desires for money, sex, physical health, all of these things, right? Maybe even a little bit the ego desires of looking cool, right? But you don't want to suppress them. You want to embrace them and healthily integrate them into this paradigm of coming from who you really are, okay? You can still make money from there. You can still get all the success you want, but it's going to come from a very different place. And you're not going to be miserable once you achieve it, which is pretty fucking cool. You're actually not going to feel empty. It's more like you're already feeling good, and then the success is just the fucking cherry on top. It just makes it even better, you know? It just adds a little bit of extra spice to the experience that you're having that is already amazing, right? Like, you would be cool with or without it, which also makes it easier to achieve, which is one of the great lessons that going through a down phase and detaching from the outcomes that you were attached to gives you. It makes it easier to achieve because you're detached. People feel your detachment. Maybe the entire universe even reacts. I'm not sure about that, but you also enjoy it. And it's fucking beautiful. And in a way, the only way, and Eckhart also says this, not Meister Eckhart, although he probably also said it too. I haven't read this specifically from him, but Eckhart Tolle, the modern day Eckhart, right? The modern day enlightened German. Enlightened German number 2 also calls himself Eckhart. Gotta love it. But what did he say again? I forgot. Anyway, just read him, okay? He's incredible. Maybe this is a sign I should stop the video, but coming from this place, trust me, nothing can buy you this, okay? Nothing. So I hope I could encourage you to, maybe if you're going through a down phase right now, know on the one hand that you are going to get out of it, okay? You will be reborn like a phoenix coming from the fucking ashes, okay? To use another cliche. But you're gonna come back. And coming back is gonna be so much more beautiful. You literally come back as a new person, with new energy, new motivation. And you're gonna build something incredible, okay? I love you very much. I'm excited to see what you're going to build, okay? What you do from the state that may have to happen. And now I remembered what Eckhart said after my fucking rant. The spiritual dimension, kind of quoting him, the spiritual dimension can really only come into your life if you have experienced loss. It cannot come in if you haven't experienced some kind of loss in the physical. He literally says this, and I kind of agree. You know, blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are you if you are poor. That doesn't mean that there's also different interpretations of poor. The best one actually, by the way, given by Meister Eckhart, Sermon 52, I believe. It's called on mental poverty or on spiritual, being poor in spirit. You should look it up. It's incredible. Basically just means being really present, okay, becoming totally empty, but he puts it a lot better than me. But the spiritual dimension, in a way, can only come into your life after you have experienced loss. So if that's happening to you right now, I hope that this video kind of helped you, okay? I've had some guides along the way, okay? It was pretty crazy. I hope this is kind of helps you make your way through it, maybe more gracefully than me. It's kind of why I make these videos. I'm like, this has been a cluster. This has been a fucking train wreck, bro. Like, hopefully I can help somebody with this. Hopefully my pain helps you, okay? Alchemy, right? It's what I'm trying to do here. And yeah, being reborn from this new energy, I believe your life will get really beautiful. You become what these spiritual texts talk about. You can act without attachment. Doesn't mean you're perfect in that, okay? You still have an ego, whatever, it comes up. But from a larger viewpoint, you act without attachment to the outcome. You come from a place of already being fulfilled, and from that place of being fulfilled, you just want to give. You just want to grow. You want to expand. Until the next down phase comes. Oops, but you'll know how to embrace it, probably. It's probably still going to be painful as fuck, but at least you've made your way through it once, okay? And again, if you also want to have new resources, the Tao Te Ching is probably the best one, okay? The best text that I've ever found on this. Joseph Campbell personally really helped me because it kind of showed me that this is not something unique that's happening to me. The theme of death and rebirth is an expression in the human psyche, and it's been expressed for thousands of years, okay? Like, this is just something that happens. So if you want to have other guides, this is what I would suggest to you. But if you make your way through this, which you will, if you don't resist, you allow it to die, you allow it to tap you into who you really are, things will get amazing on the other end. And the rhythm keeps going, the ultimate one probably being your death, okay? Which you have to embrace, okay? Hate to tell you, you have to embrace your death. Otherwise, you will be stuck here hanging out with Bill Gates and Peter Thiel and the entire club who went to the island forever. The metaverse, you'll live forever. Of course, bro. It sounds like a plan, dude. Like, spending eternity with Peter Thiel and Bill Gates. Amazing. Getting the 16th vaccine shoved into you. Okay. Hey man, whatever floats your boat. You want to get fucked in the ass by Peter and Bill? It's your thing, dude. It's kind of awesome. I kind of admire it, you know? Like, that's the journey that your soul wants to take. That's pretty cool. You know, all power to you. But if for whatever reason, you know, whatever fucking reason, I don't know why, okay, you would rather hang out with Eckhart Tolle. I don't know, that guy probably goes to a lot higher level than most of us. But anyway, if you want to hang out with people that are maybe a little bit, you know, I don't know, didn't go to the island, you know. Thiel, I don't think actually went to the island, I'm not sure, but you know what I mean. If you happen to want something different, I truly believe, and this is the big picture, okay? This is the big picture. This is the real of what we're talking about. Like, fuck your business going down, fuck you having a breakup, fuck all of that, okay? The real is this, okay? And if it's not for you, it's for your kids or their kids, and you gotta teach them this, because otherwise we're fucked, okay? Well, maybe you wanna hang out with Peter, right? Anyway, I think that's a great way to end the video. Well, the real is you gotta transcend in the end, and the only way to do it is to let go, okay? And what this is supposed to teach you, what the small deaths of your life are supposed to teach you and supposed to prepare you for, is the big death that comes in the end of your life. And it's not an end, it's the way to the next level, if you don't resist. So, I hope this helped you. I hope this inspired you on your journey, and it's gonna help you make the transformation, wherever you are on your journey. I hope it inspires you, I hope it helps you. Maybe it also prepares you for a down phase that's about to come. I love you very much. And I'll see you in the next one.